Good day, everyone. So, we are the Group 5 presenters, but firstly, I will introduce myself. I'm Genevieve Scoria Tipase, and my members are Sir Vito Arger, Sir Vito Jasmine, Sir Vito Maria Juliana, Kuleli Claire, Dolay Christine, Dolarkin Lewis, Steliana Catherine Joy, and lastly, Estrellado Christine Nicole. So our topic is all about civil engineering, sustainability, and the future. But before we proceed to our topic, I will first introduce to you the different contents of our report. So firstly, the introduction. It will be followed by sustainable development and the need for sustainable development. Next, what can engineers do? Also, the sustainable construction and the different use of sustainable building materials. And ensuring sustainable construction and the different steps to achieve sustainable development in civil engineering, and last, the future of civil engineering. Civil engineering incorporates a broad range of different job roles, from the construction of highways and building to dams, tunnels, bridges, and other smaller facilities. It is undeniable to conclude that its role and responsibility is vast. So, as civil engineers. Civil engineers design, build, and supervise infrastructure projects and systems. Civil engineering typically work in a wide range of settings and conclusion. So it is common for them to divide their time between in working in an office and in working on construction sites to monitor their operations and solve their problems. So, civil engineering is widely regarded as oldest engineering discipline, and it is concerned with a built environment and can be traced back to the first time someone put a roof over his or her head or laid a tree trunk across a river to make a crossing easier. So much of what defines modern civilization can be found in a built environment. Buildings or bridges are frequently the first structures to come to mind because they are the most visible manifestation of structural engineering. So one of civil engineering major subdiscipline. Also, a transportation engineers, another type of civil engineer which design roads, railroads, subway systems, and airports. There are civil engineers that is class visible creations. Just like when you turn in a water faucet, we expect water to flow without thinking about how civil engineers made it possible. So, for example, the New York City. New York City is one of the most improvised water supply systems in the world, receiving billions of gallons of high quality water from the Catskills, which is more 100 miles away. So similarly, few people appear to concerned about what happens to the water after it has served its purpose. So the old civil engineering discipline is of sanitary engineering has evolved into modern environmental engineering of such importance that the most academic departments' names have been changed to civil environmental engineering. So these few examples demonstrates that civil engineers are responsible for much more than just building and rich design. They can be found also in the aerospace industry, designing jetliners, space station, in the automotive industry, perfecting the load carrying capacity of a JC and improving the crash resistance of bumpers and doors. So an in-shape building power in many other industries for constructing facilities are involved. So, as construction managers, the one and supervise the constructions of these facilities, We all know that civil engineering is an exciting profession. Why? Because you can see results of their work at the end of the day. Whether it's a completed bridge, a high-rise buildings, a subway station, or a hydroelectric dam. So in short, civil engineering professions or civil engineering is a professional engineering discipline that builds with the design constructions and maintenance to the physical and natural rebuilt environment including public works such as roads, bridges, canals, dams, airports, sewerage systems, and railways. So, in other words, constructions involves materials from the various sources, machineries, demolition of existing structures, or cutting down trees, which can impact the environment in one or more ways. So, as civil engineering, which is field, is the most important part of the economy, sustainable construction practices must from the past and hiring to the traditional construction practices and methods. Sustainable development.
Sustainable development. Sustainable development is an approach to development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future to meet their own needs. It integrates economic, social, and environmental consideration in decision making. So, in short, sustainable development aims to provide us a better life by improving access to education, healthcare, clean water, and energy without depleting our natural resources or by conserving our natural resources. Sustainable development needs collaboration across different sectors such as government agencies, individuals, and organizations. As it is also written in the American Society of Civil Engineers Code of Ethics in the first canon states that engineers shall hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public and shall strive to comply with the principle of sustainable development in the performance of their professional duties. One example of the green buildings around the world is the Bahrain World Trade Center 1 and 2, which uses three turbines mounted on the sky bridges between the towers to generate electricity, which supply about 15% of the building's electricity. Here in the Philippines, one example of the green buildings is the Zolig building in Makati, which has the premium drainage and irrigation system which serve as the catchment facility of the rain, which recycles water condensation, saving nearly 29 million liters yearly.
Need for sustainable development.
So, sustainable developments, it is the needs of the present without promising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Earth is one of system. The security, equality of life, and global sustainability are limited together. Therefore, not achieving the sustainable development could lead to a planet with the resources. Stabilized relationship of human economy and environment. The essence of this form of develop is a stable relationship between human activities and natural world, which does not diminish the prospect for the future generation to enjoy a quality to life at least as good as our own. So the first is environmental. So sustainable development shall aim to on making natural resources still usable up to the next generation, and it is part of engineers' duty to use and this is resources. It is not an effort in an effective manner without depleting. So, sa environmental, an engineer usually, it is the duty or duties an engineer nga all resources have an effort to effective manner. So, like resources like soil, land, water, and atmosphere, and renewable energy and biological resources such as planets and animals. So, economic sustainable development shall also aim at being cost effective. So, an economic daw shall be cost effective. Engineering is inclined with developing the physical infrastructure. We all we all rely on transport networks, roads, bridges, water and energy supplies and waste management. So, ang mga engineers is mas dito sila naka-focus on physical infrastructure like transport networks, roads, bridges, and water and energy supply, and also the waste management. And by building this infrastructure, engineering has a much wider and more lasting impact. It must help to fuel economic growth.
Social. In social, sustainable development should not just also aim at enhancing one's environment and economic growth. It also encompasses on shaping the society and improve the way people live and work, which in turn will productively impact both of the mentioned aspects above.
So the last is we have the Venn diagram of sustainable development. So we have the three important sustainable development in the diagram. So the one is the environmental, a variable natural environmental. So we have two, the sustainable natural and built environment. It means that protects and enhances people, places, and natural environment. So the example is the cities, buildings, urban spaces, walkways, roads, parks. This is the example of sustainable natural built environment. So the next is sustainable economic development. It means the balance economics growth free of indebtedness and over consumption of factors of production and activities that take into account the carrying capacity of the environment and future generations. So the example of this is creating system that minimize waste. So the second one is we have social. So nurturing community. So nurturing community means that facility connection between people. They are places that help develop relationship with the others on similar level. Example of this is the family spend more time gathering around the table of around of television. So the last sustainable development is the economic. We have the sufficient economy. So means that it is a method of developing based on the moderation, prejudice, and social immunity, one that uses knowledge and virtue as guidelines in living. So, example, integrity, farming, handing, carving, making, food processing, business affairs, and more.